This is a Renaissance drawing, and if you notice in this, there aren't, there is not the, what would you call the residue of any central axis lines in these drawings. And that is because generally the Renaissance artists would start out here on the contour. Look up. We start out here on the contour, and these contours would be put in sometimes it would be put in as many as 8, 10, 12 times. If you look at Michelangelo or you look at Leonardo da Vinci drawings, you'll notice sometimes that a contour line might have been what is called restated, once, twice, 2, 3, 4, 5, sometimes as many as 8 times. They're searching for what that contour is. Once they find it, they'll go in and strengthen it. But initially the search sometimes is likely, and then when the one that they find that they want to keep, then they'll go in and strengthen it up. 90% of the time, all of those initial little contour lines that were wrong are left in. They're there. Now, had we approached this drawing right here, we probably would have used axis lines, something like that, trying to find, what central axis are. However, there's another approach, which is out on the contour, and it's a contour cross contour drawing, in which it's more kind of bubble-like drawing. So, this might have been approached like this, like that, like that, like that. And then, with no central axis lines, it would have been straightened up some. And notice you draw that way already. Now, in this little handout, I'm not going to start the drawing yet, okay? We'll come back to it in a minute. In this little handout, you would be looking for largest mass forms and working them in as kind of bubble-like shapes. That would be your approach to this in this other means of drawing, rather than axis lines. Kind of makes sense to you? Now that can be, we could have used that. Okay, what we did was, what I wanted to do, we used axis lines in here. But what if, instead of that, we had, began things that were dealing with large masses, and we would have approached this sort of like this at that point, instead of the axis lines that we placed into it. It's not only about figure drawing. This was your drawing, wasn't it? Was this your drawing? Yeah. He instinctively did this with this drawing. Basically started with all this large mass, and instead of an axis line, I noticed that, he was using large mass, and that was his approach to this drawing. It worked fine, and it does work fine. It's another very common way of working. I mean, you could lay this thing out pretty quickly that way. I'm going to draw real hard so you can see, but you could place this thing together pretty quickly with that kind of approach, and it's a wrapping kind of circular approach to it, and then go back and start doing some refining in it. That's another approach to getting a drawing up and running and started. Based on contour cross contour. So I didn't want to leave you with the idea that every time you start a drawing that you need to run through all those, discover all those axis lines. It's just one approach. This is a different approach, but it's just as effective. So. I might want to finish this one, but you're getting the idea of it, right? So, a second approach to it. In working with this figure, we'll spend just a few minutes doing a little drawing here with this figure. But I'm not going to slow this down too much, but make an attempt at staying with me and working alongside of me, okay? Just make an attempt at it. I got good news and bad news for you. We went through everything I had planned for this semester in this class. I was surprised by that. I never expected to get through it. We went through 14 units in here, I think. 13 or 14 units. We went through all of it. This is not actually going to be anything that I'm going to evaluate. We're just going to work on this for a few minutes in class so that I haven't left you with, the Bruce Nelsmith means of drawing as if that's the only means of drawing. That's the good news. I feel pretty good about what I've been seeing now in the class. The bad news is that I have to have everything finished and uploaded or emailed to me by Thursday at 3:30. And that doesn't affect most of you in here, because I think most of you are up to date. But that's the bad news side of it. If you can't get it into Wolf, and email me with images, okay? But I don't think it's going to stress you guys out, because most everyone in the class, actually, whether they're here right now or not, are pretty much up to date. So I was looking at that last night when I realized that I was going to have everything in earlier than I thought I was going to be able to give you. So, anyway, Thursday will be our last day in here. This Thursday. Yeah. So, our last official meeting time in here. And anyway, so if you got outstanding work, I guess you got work to do tonight. But, all right, in an approach to this, we're going to start with large masses, the largest of the masses. And anytime you use this approach to drawing, that's where you'll start. You'll look at the thing and say, what's the largest portion of this thing that I'm drawing? And start the drawing there. So, in this animal, start the drawing of the large mass of its chest. And, second largest mass is third, fourth, and you run on like that. And I figure the large mass would be, obviously in the torso, so that initial mark that you make would be something like that. And look, you can't, it doesn't make any sense for you to go in and try to do this right the first time, and bear down on it. Just, circle it until you get something that is where you want it. I'm going to lean it out a little bit more. I'm going to lean it out a little bit more here than what I was doing there. So, and then we'll go to the next largest mass. And to the next. And to the next. And that would be, this approach to, in this case, the little figure drawing. I'm not going to bother with the feet right now. So the large mass circular, you're out on the contour, and second largest mass would be right in here. These two things have kind of a tilt to them, but we're not talking about axis. Then legs in here, smaller, still circular form, still circular form, still circular form, still circular form. Circular form, neck, head, circular form. Head has kind of a lean down, but, you know, circular form. So, the reason that, you don't mean to write this down, but the reason Kaman Nicolaides would refer to this as natural way to draw was that he was into speed with the drawings, you know, getting something done as rapidly as you possibly get it done. I kind of think that the axis lines will lead you to something often more accurate in terms of relative proportion, things like that. But if you have to work very, very fast and get something in very, very quickly, you know, this is a good approach to, you know, to getting it done quickly. And then after, you know, you have all of these contour, cross contour lines, and that would be the point at which you would go in and start to strengthen up the lines that are more tied to local form, meaning you know exactly what this looks like. So initially there wouldn't be a lot of detail in this thing, only later would you begin to place much detail in it. Kind of makes sense to you? Now, you know, if you were looking at, I intentionally put a whole lot of stuff in here that we didn't need because, you know, I'm trying to make a point. But, you know, if you were looking at this as, you know, a Da Vinci drawing or something like that, most likely you would still see all of these lines. They wouldn't be this dark, but they would be in there. But you could go in and, you know, clean up a little bit after, you know, this kind of process. You have to clean up after an axis line drawing anyway. And in this, you could get in and, you know, clean up some and maybe take out a little bit of the stuff that was the contour, cross contour structure of the thing to start with. If you wanted to. I kind of think often a lot of these more or less stray marks that are in these, the way these figures are built, have a tendency to make it a little bit more alive than if you know, it were all laid in with just a single line. So you know, this is a second approach to drawing. A little bit of the second figure, and you know, actually that's basically do it for what I had planned. Could be that the reason that Nicolaides referred to this as the natural way to draw is that when, if I had walked in here and not given you any instruction whatsoever and handed you anything to draw, and it wouldn't matter what it was to draw, the chances are really high that you would have started out there on the contour, not with an axis line in the interior. The chances are real high that you would have done that. So, in his reference to the natural way to draw, it's that very often that's where we'll start a drawing, just left on your own. If we worked with that second figure over there, you'd have mass in here, mass in here, mass, and so that will be this approach to this one. You're searching for it through these wrapping kind of open circular contours. So initially, you have what looks like one of those little wooden models, and then you go in and begin to emphasize more detail in it. But initially, it's these kinds of wrapping marks. And then it's just more detail, more detail, more detail. I'm not sure a person can actually stand like that. I don't know. Seems kind of unlikely. So, that is, another approach to beginning a drawing, starting a drawing. And then it's, after that, it's the same thing we've been doing in here with the axis drawings, which is, beginning to do more and more refinement in it. So, but this is a different way of starting it. Make sense to you? And as I said, you can use that approach in just about anything, even if it were not organic, figurative. It doesn't necessarily have to be organic. It doesn't have to be an organic, figurative thing. It can be, like an object can be dealt with the same way. I mean, if that were if you were going to draw be wrapping and finding the form by wrapping. So I'm building a spray bottle out of it. So it's not just approach to be used with figures and animals and things like that. It can be it can be applied to just about anything. I'm afraid that includes my semester. All right, look, I do apologize for having to push that, date up on getting stuff in on Thursday, but be sure to do that. Thursday, 3:30. So, if there's something missing and you can't, I'm going to go in and try to open dates up on some of those things if I can. I'm not sure. I didn't write that policy about leaving the dates closed on the unit. Huh? Yeah, I'm going to just put an image up, though. It's not going to be a demo.
So we don't have a submit.
Huh?
Do we have a submit?
Yeah, just take a photo and submit. Just take a photo and submit this. Thursday will be our last meeting day in here, all right? So we'll get back on Thursday. With this drawing that you did in here today, just take a photograph, and there's no place to put it on Wolf Den yet. It will be tonight.